Assassin's Creed Rogue is a game. It's part of the Assassin's Creed series, surprisingly, and it was released in 2014, right after Black Flag, the pirate game that also featured assassins, but before Unity, a game that everyone knows for being a complete mess at launch. Now, I've played both Black Flag and Unity. Unity was in fact the last Assassin's Creed game I ever played, but for some reason I only got around to playing Rogue just recently. Now, this wasn't my first meeting with the game. I actually watched part of a Let's Play series back in 2014. I believe it was the Let's Play series of Lamadia, Yox cast Hannah at the time, but for some reason, the game did not seem in any way interesting. It was just another Assassin's Creed game, and I paid it minimal attention. After just a few episodes, I dropped the Let's Play series. So, did it remain in the back of my mind and I decided to revisit it because of that? No, absolutely not. I actually wanted to play Valhalla recently, and I decided to play every Assassin's Creed game that was released before Valhalla to catch up on the story. Rogue was simply one game on the list, nothing special. Yet, as I played it, I realized I was actually enjoying myself, quite a lot in fact. Now, the game is very short. I finished it in 8 hours, and there are many things that I would change about the game, and many things that I would add or remove. Yet, despite that, I would definitely recommend this game. Despite mostly recycling assets and mechanics, the game seemed novel and fresh in a way, and for some reason I just felt like talking about it. So here we are. I hope you enjoy my retelling of Assassin's Creed Rogue, and I hope that by the end you too can see that this game is an unpolished gem.
Stay my blade from the flesh of the innocent. Hide in plain sight. Never compromise the Assassin Brotherhood. These are the tenets of the Creed, the principles I used to live by. I was a young man then. The 7 Years' War was about to begin. I could not have imagined what the future had in store for me, nor the cost I would choose to bear. My name is Shay Patrick Cormac. This is my story.
This here is Shay, our protagonist, who we will be following for the whole game. Unlike most Assassin's Creed games, this game doesn't start with a lengthy tutorial or any build-up. Instead, you're thrown right into the action. You jump through trees and run towards your target, but as you're about to get him...
Don't lack for firewood, at least.
Admit it, I nearly had you.
Nearly counts for nothing, Shay. And besides, no. That was just luck.
I make my own luck, Liam.
You've been saying that for years, but you've precious little to show for it.
Yes, turns out this is your fellow assassin and friend Liam. Both Liam and Shay were born to Irish immigrants, and their meeting can only be called lucky. Liam and his father worked for a wealthy merchant, unloading his cargo from ships, while Shay's father worked for the merchant marine. Shay was visiting his father when the two met. The two became friends, but would slowly drift apart until meeting again much later. Liam would be the person to recruit Shay into the Assassin Brotherhood. The two of you make your way toward Chevalier, a fellow assassin who is meeting smugglers in the area. From the conversation Shay has with Liam, it becomes obvious that Shay has not been informed about the details of their mission. This might not seem important, at least not yet, but it shows that Shay is not high ranked in the Assassin Brotherhood and might not be treated with the respect he desires.
This space, where the hell were you two?
We're out hunting. What happened here?
My men were attacked by some English sea dogs.
Why, Captain Joseph, couldn't you fight them all off by yourself like you're always saying?
It is Capitaine Louis-Joseph Gauthier, Chevalier de la Vérendrye. And you are dreaming if you think any training could make you into a proper assassin. Do you even know what that means? It means being responsible for an ancient and proud tradition. It means obeying your mentor without question. How else will we ensure freedom for the human race?
Them's pretty words, Chevalier. But I don't feel too free at the moment.
Well then, feel educated!
So yes, this is the fighting tutorial, funnily enough. So you start beating the snot out of this smelly Frenchman, only for Liam to stop you.
Gentlemen, stop! We got a common enemy, and I reckon he's close.
The Royal Navy attack my vessel and force my men to flee. We are stranded, and what is worse, the smugglers we were supposed to meet have been taken prisoner!
Shay and I'll free those smugglers. You, treat your wounded. Take these. You'll need them.
So you do some proper assassinations, free the smugglers, and then you head towards the ship. You sneak on board of the ship, and then you clean it out one Englishman at a time.
I was saving those fellas for you.
Very thoughtful.
Maybe you were not completely useless, Shay.
Speaking of useless, those blockheads won't be needing this vessel anymore.
This pile of merde?
The captured vessel will become your ship for the rest of the game. It's a cool ship, despite it also being a pile of shit at the moment. So you decide to play taxi and deliver Chevalier to his own ship. However, as you get close, you realize his ship is under attack from the British.
A ship! Ces enfants chiens! They will sink her!
Let's put the Morrigan to the test, Captain Shay.
Ready for battle, man.
I decide to shoot at the ship, and it gets all cinematic, but I miss, so just pretend like I hit them. So you do battle with them, which is actually pretty easy since all the ships are already damaged or have low health to start with. As you finish up, another cutscene plays. Crikey, we finally got rid of the smelly snail eater, but I wonder if he has a license for that ship. So you get woken up from the Animus where a much more interesting story is happening, and now you're in the real world where you have to put up with taxes and women. Yeah, it's whatever. There's a virus in the Animus, you meet the main characters and do some puzzles. I'm not really going to be going over the storyline because the video is already way too long and this would make it even longer. Honestly, if you're truly interested in the storyline, play the game yourself. It really is good and I do recommend it. I don't know, Dorian, French Revolution. Now, this does sound like a good idea for a game. And back to the Animus it is.
It has been a long time.
Who's our visitor?
That's Adewale, who's a slave who freed himself, and hundreds of his brothers in the West Indies. He joined me for some practice.
Soon. I've got other business first.
You listen in on the conversation between Adewale and Achilles. Apparently they sent out someone to a precursor site, but at the same time, a terrible earthquake happened, resulting in high waves hitting the city, resulting in the deaths of thousands. The assassin was never found. Quite unlucky. The Templars then struck and stole artifacts that showed the way to the site. Adewale chased them, but the Templars managed to outrun him. This, and I might be overanalyzing this, but this scene to me sums up the entire game. Now, hold on. What? Yes, this small optional scene, to me at least, sums up this game because it truly shows the character of Shay. Shay is a curious person. He also tries to be a good person. He tries to do what's right. But what he considers right clashes with the values of the assassins. At the end of the day, although the assassins believe in freedom, they also structure themselves in hierarchies. Hierarchies that Shay has trouble respecting and trouble believing in. We will keep seeing Shay doubt the leadership and its decisions as the game continues. But this is the first sign of any doubt.
You are late.
Oh, what did I miss?
Only the first hour of training,
We're always training, Kasagawase.
and will continue to do so.
Do not waste your words. Shay abhors improvement as much as cats abhor leashes. A pity. The boy has so much potential, but so little discipline.
All right. What would you have me do?
Now, it's time to meet the gang. Liam, Hope, and Kasegawase. Liam has already been introduced, so I'll skip him over. Next is Hope, who is an adopted daughter of a German couple. who named her so because they were hoping for a better life in the colonies. Her parents managed to get rich, but they were never truly accepted as part of the elite. Hope's father would later mysteriously disappear, and his business would be taken over, leaving her and her mother on the streets. Her mother died of tuberculosis, and Hope was left to fend for herself. Achilles was surprised by her survival skills and eventually recruited her to the Brotherhood. She is an expert on anything shady, and she has an extensive network built in New York. It is even stated that she controls most of New York's organized crime. Not much is known about Kasegawase, but we do know that he was a regular Native American until he decided to become a mercenary for the French army, which is where he met Achilles and Liam, who were very impressed by his prowess and decided to recruit him into the Brotherhood.
Achilles has one more thing to show you.
Now, the last person you meet is Achilles. I don't think Achilles needs introducing. We all know him as the grumpy old man from Assassin's Creed 3, but there is something interesting in his database file, so here we go. Achilles is of a mixed Caribbean and British descent, and he was born in the West Indies. When his training was finished, he was sent to the colonies to establish his own brotherhood there. He married a woman named Abigail, and together they had a son named Connor. Achilles established a place for his family to live, the Davenport homestead, which became a meeting place for his brotherhood. He is the current mentor of his brotherhood, and he is the person who recruited Liam, Hope, Kasegawase, and Shay.
Shay, I hear you've become quite the marksman.
Generous gift. Thank you, mentor.
My ship awaits, Achilles. I trust you will retrieve what has been lost.
Lost?
The Templars stole two precious artifacts. A manuscript of ancient wisdom and a box that allows one to understand its language.
I have tracked the Templar as far as this coast, but I fear the rest is up to you, my friend.
Farewell, Adewale. Whoever controls the artifacts can access precursor sites of power. We must recover them, or none are safe.
So you're sent out on a mission to recover the artifacts by Achilles, although you're told this by Liam, who has tasked with making sure Shay is fine. Now, whether it's Achilles directly tasking you or indirectly tasking you through Liam, it should not really matter, but just listen to what Shay has to say about this.
Achilles doesn't really trust me, does he?
Give it time, Shay. Do this for him. For us. Do much more than earn his trust.
Shay views this as distrust, or maybe even disrespect. Again, a sign of unhappiness. Either way, it's time for a mission with Froggy.
Trust me, you will sell those lobster by the ton in France. Ah! The cabbage farmers return. About time. We set sail for Anticosti. That should prove a good test for this floating cesspit you call a ship.
This is a classic ship tutorial mission. You learn how to use a spyglass, you learn how to incapacitate ships, just classic stuff really. But what is interesting is Shay's musings on Haiti and the assassin support of the French.
Haiti's a French colony now.
Aye, it is.
And here, the assassins are helping King Louis. But in Haiti, the French own the slaves who are set free by the assassins.
Our struggle is beyond political borders, Shay.
No matter what kind of question Shay raises, it always seems to be rebuffed. It's almost as if the assassins only care about some freedoms, but not about freedom itself, especially freedom of thought in this case. Shay is basically always told to simply shut up and get back in line. Either way, after robbing a ship, you upgrade your own ship and head to Anticosti to meet a spy working with the pirates, Le Chasseur.
Take a look at this. I borrowed these plans from a Royal Navy ship of the line. They are like nothing I have ever seen.
Good. We could use some more powerful weapons. Le Chasseur, allow me to present our associate, Shay Cormac.
Gentlemen, I have news.
Yo, is this guy not even gonna say hi to me? What the hell?
Manuscript you seek.
So basically, Le Chasseur says he saw the manuscript. It was written in a strange language he did not recognize and featured many drawings but no maps. Right now, a Templar has the manuscript, one named Lawrence Washington. So the gang decides to head out and take back the manuscript. Mission end.
Where does Chevalier get off ordering us around like that? We're assassins, same as him.
He has more experience and he knows these waters better, Shay. That makes him in charge in these parts.
Well, he commands me around back at the homestead too. Is he a truffle pig to know land better than me?
Show some respect, Shay.
You ought to respect me, Liam. I stick my neck out as much as any of us.
It's time to meet the gang again. Hope says that the Templars have been showing the manuscript to many learned people in New York, doctors, scientists, and so on. Kesegawase mentions that they have even been approaching tribes with questions about the manuscript. Liam and Shay report that they have found out that Lawrence Washington is most likely in the possession of the manuscript, to which Achilles says this.
Lawrence Washington, businessman, Virginian politician, and high-ranking Templar.
Ah, yes. I recently heard he was back from the West Indies. One of my men saw his major domo pick up a strange package.
Then that package will be delivered to him promptly. Shay, figure out what it is and find Washington. And when you do, learn all you can.
I'll prepare the Morrigan.
Shay manages to sneak on board of the ship carrying the package, but
this?
inside the package is no manuscript, but something completely different.
A rifle.
You there! Stay! Where you are.
How can that be? It makes no sound. Thanks for the present, Master Washington.
Eventually, Shay manages to sneak his way to a party hosted by Washington, who he sees talking with his brother, George Washington. George seems worried about Lawrence's health for, well, obvious reasons. Lawrence sends George away, officially so he can bring a bottle of wine with him, but in reality, Lawrence simply wishes for George to not have to be involved in Templar matters. Lawrence talks with his Templar buddies, who reassure him that the manuscript will soon be translated, and then they take their leave.
Then I bid you take your leave.
Washington can barely stand on his own 2 feet. Better be right about him, Liam. Because I'm about to murder a dying man.
What's the matter with you? Have you caught some?
You are too late, assassin.
It's never too late to ruin Templar plans, Master Washington.
But my plans are already in motion. Even leading you here has given my allies time to escape. Thank you for making my end a quick one.
And thank you for revealing your master plan, you scheming snake.
Now, this assassination to me seems interesting for one simple reason. It feels absolutely pointless, which I do not mean in a bad way. I do not mean to say that this is an example of bad design. I do mean the exact opposite, in fact. Normally, how would you feel after your first assassination in an Assassin's Creed game? You'd feel pretty good. Yet, when I first played Rogue, I did not feel good at all killing Lawrence Washington. Now, you could argue that we have dispatched a villain. If you go through Lawrence's database, you will find that he owned slaves. But we did not kill him to free the slaves. We did not kill him because he was a slave owner. We killed him because he was on the opposite side. We just killed an old man who had, at best, a few months to live. His allies have managed to run away, and they still have the manuscript. Yes, we have taken a step to take it back, but reclaiming the manuscript will take many more steps. Maybe I'm simply overanalyzing this, but, well, Shay agrees with me.
Lawrence Washington is dead.
You look disappointed.
The sickly way that man looked. He would have been dead in a month anyway.
It's so grim about the homestead now that Miss Abigail and little Connor have passed.
Aye. I've seen Achilles crying.
Why shouldn't he?
It's just that he doesn't look sad. He looks furious. It's unsettling.
He's struggling with the loss. We all are.
So yes, Achilles' wife Abigail and son Connor passed away. This is the only time this is mentioned in the game, and it's almost easy to miss it. This, I feel, is a mistake. Achilles plays an important role in this story, and something as tragic as losing his wife and only son must have an impact on the way Achilles behaves. Achilles' behavior will be very important in this sequence, and some of his decisions will almost feel unhinged, most likely because he just went through something traumatic and he is not thinking straight. Yet, this idea is essentially not explored at all. It's a shame. I understand that Assassin's Creed games are action-oriented, especially nowadays, but that doesn't mean that they can't tell a dramatic story. I feel like this game has much potential, but potential on its own means absolutely nothing. Either way, let's continue Templar hunting.
Chevalier, what happened to your vessel?
I got myself into a bit of a scrape.
My sources inform me that Samuel Smith has searched far and wide, looking for answers on how to make that strange box work. He just returned from Europe.
Where's he now?
Refitting his schooner. Oh, remember those blueprints? Well, I had an engineer build that marvelous weapon for your ship. Master Pucker's gun fires more shots than an artillery brigade, and twice as fast.
Many thanks.
Anything for my hooded friends.
Next person on the bucket list is Samuel Smith, the Templar treasurer who's currently carrying the precursor box. He's returning from Europe and needs to refit his ship. You give chase to him, cut through some ice sheets, get an ambush, get out of the ambush, give chase once more, and then assassinate him.
This cannot be. No! Do you even know what that is?
An ancient artifact. Treasure from those who came before.
Yes. It matters not. Some of the greatest scientific minds of all Europe could not make it work.
Now all I need is the manuscript, and all shall be revealed.
I don't much feel like celebrating, Liam. I know we have to get these artifacts back, but at what cost? Samuel Smith. He could barely hold his sword straight.
You're here. Congress is still in session. George Washington and his militia have fired on French troops under Jumonville. The French are calling it an act of war.
What about the manuscript?
My sources in New York confirm that Wardrop has it. I also learned that he is here at the Congress under heavy guard.
Shay, find Wardrobe. Get that manuscript.
So you start sneaking in when you suddenly see a large crowd of people and the person giving a speech is none other than
Master Franklin. But do you truly believe Great Britain will grant our colonies autonomy?
They have little choice, Master Johnson. You know the remoteness of this frontier better than most.
Yes. We will have the box delivered shortly. As for the manuscript... Captain?
I apologize, sir. But Master Wardrop refused to hand it over. He said the risks were too great.
I apologize. You will have the manuscript and the box in the briefest of delays.
You mangy excuse for a uniform. Run to Fort Frederick and tell Master Wardrop he had better cough up the manuscript post-haste. Else I will have him scalped.
Now this seems like it will be a classic, fast-paced, high-energy Assassin's Creed chase scene, but I just pop out my rifle and... And that's that. Chase over. Now that the chasing is over, we can calmly walk to the fort and assassinate Wardrobe.
I'll take that, you Templar dog.
No! You have no idea what you're doing, fool!
Keeping the people free from your control.
How free will you be when the French undermine these squabbling colonies?
These colonies would be far better off without the Templars pulling the strings.
We bring order from chaos. If everything is permitted, no one is safe.
This is a really simple dialogue, but I honestly love it. I wouldn't exactly call this a callback to Assassin's Creed 1, but it feels very reminiscent of when Altair argued that since nothing is true and everything is permitted, then rules do not matter and it is fine to kill innocent people. You can essentially see the difference in the way Templars and Assassins view the world here. Assassins would argue that nothing is true, as I understand it, that we live in an illusionary world, one where we can't grasp its true nature. A Templar, upon hearing that nothing is true, would probably start arguing that the line is paradoxical. If nothing is true, then the statement itself should not be true. An assassin would say that everything is permitted. Again, as I understand it, that nothing is set in stone in nature and that rules are man-made. A Templar would say that rules definitely do exist, maybe in the form of laws, and that certain things are simply not permitted. These two views are completely incompatible, and this leads to Shay saying this iconic line.
Even the devil can quote scripture to suit his own purposes.
You're late. The sky is getting temperamental.
That's not the only thing, is it? Master Franklin, sir. My name is Shay, and this is my associate Hope. William Johnson told us to give you these.
Thank you, but I'm afraid I must delay my experiment.
Delay it? Why?
The army confiscated my lightning rods. They are essential to conducting the electricity I need to vivify your box. Soldiers have been hauling things away all day. Perhaps they could tell you where they've taken my lightning rods so you could get them back.
At your service, sir.
Begin your investigation at the market near the docks. I will stay here and help with the preparations.
You tail a soldier, sneak around, obtain the rods, and then it's back to Franklin.
Shay! Thank goodness! Quick! Help me with the rods!
It's a map! Where is that?
Portugal! Lisbon, I'd stake my life on it!
Make yourself scarce, Shay. The militia will be here any minute. I'm sure they will have questions.
What about you?
I'm a devoted housekeeper.
Right. Feast of All Saints. What a sight. And here I am, looking for a relic from the time before Adam and Eve. Strange days indeed.
So now we're in Lisbon, and we're trying to find a piece of Eden in an old cathedral. This feels like an homage to the older Assassin's Creed games. After all, the last few games, Black Flag and Assassin's Creed 3, did not feature large cathedrals as they take place in the Americas. This therefore feels almost like something from Assassin's Creed 2 or Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Honestly, it's a simple but cool level. I like it.
This must be it. The precursor site. What do we have here? The artifact.
You sprint outside hoping that the earthquake might be localized around the cathedral, but no, the whole city is in complete chaos and no one is responsible for this except for you. Suddenly you realize that the same thing happened on Haiti. The Assassin Brotherhood sent someone to discover a precursor site and obtain a powerful relic. Instead they caused an earthquake and high waves that devastated Port-au-Prince. Similarly, you just devastated Lisbon. Entire buildings are shaken to their core and falling apart. People on the street walk around dazed and hurt. You run for the city as best as you can, but fire makes you run on buildings instead of streets. A building with you inside collapses. You keep running to your ship, the only thing that can save you right now. Miraculously, you make it.
How could God do this to them?
God had nothing to do with this.
But hey, at least you finished your mission successfully. Yeah, this game has this issue, and I think this applies to all Assassin's Creed games, where it will throw a very dramatic scene at you, only to break that scene by showing you the mission completed screen. It's not that big of a deal, honestly, but it does break the immersion sometimes.
So what's the next city you want me to smite? What happened in Haiti happened in Portugal. A great earthquake. Thousands dead thanks to your damned manuscript!
This cannot be.
Shay, a person cannot start an earthquake!
A person meddling with these precursor machines could. You saw the box, Hope. The temple was filled to bursting with that kind of power. You made me slaughter innocents!
How dare you!
You defend him? Achilles sent me in there like Macandal sent his man in Haiti.
What the hell's going on? Stop this!
The operation was delicate. Perhaps
You are shifting the earth itself. Who are you to decide what city falls next?
Get him out of here.
Liam is a fool if he thinks I'll leave this be. Achilles cannot be trusted. He must never find another precursor temple. I don't care that he's mentor, or that his family is dead. There's no excuse for this level of madness.
There's no turning back now.
I had such hopes for you, Shay.
Achilles, I have to do this.
And what is it you're doing exactly? Stealing from your brothers? Betraying me?
Someone must make amends.
Make amends? You have no idea what you're doing. The future of the whole continent, maybe the whole world, is tied up in that manuscript.
Perhaps. But we don't have the right to decide that future.
The right! We have the responsibility!
We are responsible for killing innocents and destroying cities. This mad grab for power. It ends now.
I will not let you destroy everything we have built! Assassins! Stop him! Stop Shay!
You won't hinder our plans. Haven't I taught you anything?
That's enough!
Give back the manuscript, Shay! I'm sure Achilles—
I cannot! I will not let this happen again! All those souls lost! One more hardly matters.
Shay!
So many things just happened, and I feel like the game continues at breakneck pace without stopping or slowing down, which is something that is badly needed at this point. Shay has just done the unthinkable. He has betrayed the Brotherhood, he has betrayed his friends, however he has done so because he genuinely believes that it was the correct thing to do. We have seen Altair go against his mentor, we have seen Ezio go on a revenge spree, we have even seen Haytham assassinate an assassin. But we have never before seen someone leave the Brotherhood and go against the Creed like this. It is amazing. It is a breath of fresh air. We have seen the assassins do something not only questionable, but downright wrong. And it being called out like this, I feel like we've never had that in another Assassin's Creed game. It's a shame, however, that the game does not want to slow down for us to truly soak in what has just happened. Now then, to continue, a glitch in the Matrix, the Animus, has just led us to skip to a memory 20 years after what we just witnessed. Let's see where this goes.
Alright, Numbskull. We don't know where Shay is or what he's doing there, so keep your eyes and ears open.
I want to know the reason Shay came to this place.
You heard the man. Let's move.
You run around an unknown city, which is pretty cool actually, with the strange goal of locating criminals. As strange as it sounds, the only option is to complete your goal, so you start working on it. You walk around and using eagle vision, you find them.
Et alors? Vous l'avez trouvé? Ouais, Benjamin Franklin est à Notre-Dame. Si on se magne, on devrait le rattraper. Arrêtez de vous branler! Allons-y!
Shay overhears them talking in French, mentioning Benjamin Franklin. How all of this fits together, who knows? But the only thing you can do is kill them. You dispatch them one by one, and as you finish the last one, a cutscene plays.
Help! Somebody help! Il ne nous échappera pas cette fois!
So you get woken up from the Animus again. This time you meet your boss, who tells you his secret. He's actually Shay's biggest simp.
Shay Cormac is an assassin.
He simps in front of you for a while, then you do another puzzle, and back to the Animus you go. Now, to shortly describe what happened after Shay was shot. Shay was found floating in the water, was saved and put into the care of the Finnegans, an older couple living without children. Now let me just say that this makes absolutely no sense. So you're telling me that not a single assassin decided to climb down the cliff and make sure Shay is dead? Why didn't anyone shoot at him? He had to have been floating on the water. Did no one decide to grab the manuscript off his body? Oh yeah, I'm sure that this super important artifact would definitely not interest anyone. They're just gonna let him float away until someone else can find him. Well, like I said, the game isn't perfect. Either way, the Finnegans make sure Shay is feeling fine and then leave the room. As Shay is about to continue resting, he hears a noise from the ground floor.
What do y'all want?
What's going on? Now what are you going on about?
Stay out of this.
The situation looks dire. Shay is still heavily injured and can barely move. He can't even run, for Christ's sake. It's obvious this will be a tough battle that will require the highest levels of effort by Shay. And then you one-punch them, because Shay is feeling much better now, huh?
And don't come back! Thank you, Shay. In my younger days, I could have taken them one-handed.
Why were these men bothering you?
Ah, the usual. They feel they're owed money because they're not harming citizens. Mark me words, those gangs are going to be the downfall of this city.
Wait here, I have something for you. It won't do you any good walking around Starkers. Here, try these on. They were our sons. Don't you look a right, gentlemen?
Gas.
Did I have a book with me?
Just those peculiar weapons.
Thank you both. If you'll excuse me. The manuscript is at the bottom of the Atlantic.
So the next thing on the to-do list is to take over the headquarters of the gangsters that have been threatening the Finnegans. It's obvious the Finnegans are not the only victims, of course, something Shay realizes. He doesn't truly comment on his own motives, but I think it's safe to assume that Shay decides to get rid of the gangsters, not only as a repayment of the debt he owes to the Finnegans, but also out of his own sense of justice. So you kill the gang leader and cut down their flag. You can notice that the flag has the assassin symbol on it. Why would gangsters be part of the Assassin Brotherhood, however? Well, you might remember me mentioning Hope's New York network of organized crime. Whether you realize this before or not, many shady people have been working with the assassins this whole time. The Colonial Assassin Brotherhood is not a goody two-shoes organization. As you get rid of the gangsters, a mysterious man suddenly appears.
Be at ease, Master Cormac. We are friends. The Finnegans were worried you might take matters into your own hands. I am Colonel George Monroe.
What do you care?
You redcoats are nothing but landlords. The townsfolk here are grinding away, trying to make a living.
I cannot blame you for having that impression. Some of my comrades have been less than helpful. But I take a different approach.
And what is that?
I care. I want to see these colonists safe and prosperous.
Noble words.
Perhaps actions will convince you otherwise, Master Cormac.
With Colonel Monroe comes a new gameplay mechanic: monetary income and renovations. In the free parts of New York and other locations as well, there are buildings that can be renovated. Renovations lead to income, which is given to you periodically. You can pick up your earned money on your ship or in certain locations. On the way to your first renovation, Shay and Monroe talk about the Finnegans, and especially the deceased son of the Finnegans. Apparently their son knew Colonel Monroe personally and worked for him. Monroe says he shared the same dream with the young Finnegan, a dream of freedom. Freedom from being cold, freedom from being sick, freedom from being hungry. Shay seems somewhat doubtful, somewhat skeptical of someone meaning this well. However, together you renovate your first building, and this seems to somewhat win Shay over.
The Colonel strikes me as an honorable man. Someone who wants to do what's right. And he may have a point.
Next, you go check up on the Finnegans, and there you meet Monroe. Monroe has a task for you, and I'd like to tell you what that is, but, well, this happened to my recording.
You discovered a nest of criminals developing strange weapons. Bullets as loud and bright as firecrackers.
I'm kidding. I already played this game twice, so I know he wants you to rescue one of his associates.
His name is Christopher Gist. And he might be in over his head. I fear these brutes will hang him like a dog.
I will not let those outlaws have another victim.
Good.
Good show, Shay. Ran them right out of their own den. There may be a few men left on their ship. Look, the bird is nested right over there.
That's my ship, friend. Begging your pardon, but I must go fetch her back from those louts.
Oh, wait! I can hardly let you do that alone.
Help me if you can, then.
Careful now. These ruffians can be anywhere. You can draw them out by making noise.
Oh, I've got something better than that.
Well, you seem to be more than capable of taking care of this matter.
Gist chose you a new type of enemy, the Stalker. Stalkers are a strange addition to the game. I can't really tell if I like them or not. To me, they are like an exotic spice. Adding them in can change an entire mission drastically. Sometimes the game adds in too little, to the point that there is no challenge. Sometimes it adds too much and overpowers everything else. But despite that, the spice itself tastes good. It's just that the chef doesn't know what to do with it. That was a strange metaphor, yes. The Stalkers do enormous damage, but you can block them if you're fast enough. Sometimes they hide in plain sight, sometimes not. Your eagle vision can also help discover them. Either way, you dispatch the Stalkers and reclaim your ship.
Tell me, Shay, do you have a first mate?
He's long gone.
Then I apply for the post, Captain.
Welcome aboard.
In good health, I see.
Thanks to the captain here.
Master Gist, did you learn more about our conspirators and their new weapons?
Well, only that their base of operations is a French fort further downriver.
If the French have installed a fort in our territory, they are likely preparing an assault. New York could burn. Will you join us, Master Cormac?
Aye. Enough innocents have died already.
Gist recommends upgrading the ship, and he has just the right outpost to rob in mind. Now, how exactly will we upgrade the Morgan? If you've played Black Flag, you might have an idea of what mechanic is currently missing from your ship. That's right, it's the mortar. You sail to the mentioned French outpost, which you infiltrate, you find the key holder, kill him, take his key, and rob the outpost. Now you have all the resources necessary, so you get your upgrade. Next, you set sail towards the French fort. This is basically the mortar tutorial. You get 5 shots that you can use, and your goal is to bring down the 4 towers. After you do so, you dock your ship and infiltrate the fort. Then you close the lookouts, and then you run towards the war room where the French commander awaits.
Chasseur.
Shay, it has been so long. Were you on a special mission?
Yes, from Achilles.
How interesting. So am I.
It's a surprise. The French commander is none other than La Chausseur. Now, in this boss fight, you're supposed to counter La Chausseur next to the barrels to smack him into them. But you can also counter him, press spacebar to disarm him, and then it's an insta-kill.
You are always good at your business, Shay.
As were you. Tell me, what are you doing inland?
Special weapons. Poisonous gases to use against colonial authorities. I am merely a delivery man.
Then may your final delivery be swift. Le Chasseur was right. I had no other choice. If the assassins find out I'm alive, they'll come after me.
Ah, Master Cormac. What you have learned from Le Chasseur was confirmed. The local lawbreakers are changing tactics. Their boss has hired Benjamin Franklin to produce new weapons for them. He's very well guarded. He is making equipment to spread gases among the populace. Toxic ones, as it turns out. The ruffians we have arrested refer to an intimidating woman. I believe she is behind these nefarious plans.
I look into this.
Thank you.
Hope. I pray it's not you.
You could say Shay hopes it's not her. So you kill the gangsters guarding Franklin, and then you politely knock on his door.
Shay! It is good to see you again. Your friend Hope said you were away.
I was. Sir, I've come to collect the results of your experiments.
I just finished fixing the prototype. Here you go. Oh, would you be so kind as to inform Mistress Hope?
Of course. God, Hope. What are you doing with these felons? Turning the city against itself. What have you become?
So Colonel shows up, and now it's time for the grenade launcher tutorial. You blow up a door, and then Monroe tasks you with destroying a facility that is currently creating the toxic gas. He mentions that right now the gas is only strong enough to put people to sleep, but soon it might be more potent and dangerous.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
So you get to work destroying supplies of the poison gas, and soon you're finished. You leave the facility and go incognito again. Mission accomplished.
What marvelous destruction, Captain. I saw the smoke all the way from the Morrigan.
That should discourage those miscreants. New York is safe for now.
With all due respect, Colonel, it's going to take more than a few explosions to get rid of this kind of trouble.
The boy is right, Colonel Monroe.
Shay, was it? Congratulations. You just burned a whole lot of rats out of New York. I'm Jack Weeks. This is William Johnson. I don't know about him, but I'm pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
It is, terribly dusty here. I'm sure Shay can recount his adventures to us over a pint. Hey, the first round's on, the Colonel, huh?
Is something the matter, Master Cormac?
Just a little confused. I must have breathed some of that gas.
Some ale will do you good. Come, we are all friends here. You will be taken care of.
So a lot just happened, and once more, the game doesn't really stop for us to process it. As it turns out, we were working with Templars this whole time. Better yet, it seems they hold no grudges and are willing to work with us without a problem. Now, the only question is, when did it become obvious we were working with Templars? Was it obvious because they were siding with the British? Was it obvious because Monroe is a highly idealistic person interested in order and peace? Or was it because when you look at the map at the Freed Gang headquarters, it says Templar HQ? Yes, because despite the game trying its hardest to not say you're working with Templars out loud, despite trying to mask it as much as it could, the developers decided it would be a good idea to call Freed Outpost Templar HQ. I don't think I can explain how much of a hilarious oversight this is. Now, to be fair, the game has hinted at Shay becoming a Templar eventually, so I guess it's more of an open secret more than anything, but still, Templar HQ. Amazing.
From the Colonel.
It's a letter from Colonel Monroe. He wishes to be honest with you, as he has now known you for one entire year, and because he feels his life might be coming to an end soon. He is currently in Fort William Henry, fighting against the French and their Native American allies. He has called for reinforcements, but he believes they won't be in time. He gives you the manuscript, which he has held on to until now. He says goodbye and wishes you well, probably the last time he does this. However, Shay has something else in mind.
Man your post, Gist. The Colonel's in trouble.
How do you mean, in trouble?
He's at Fort William Henry, facing impossible odds.
Get off your lazy arses, lads, and man your stations! We raise anchor!
Shay, you are a sight for sore eyes.
Jack?
Now this is Jack Weeks. We've already seen him twice, and we are now seeing him for the third time, so I thought it might be a good time to talk about him. Jack was born to a couple of escaped slaves. By the age of 10, he began to quote-unquote work as a pickpocket and thief. He was quite successful at this until he attempted to pick the pocket of Christopher Gist. However, instead of being angry, Gist was surprised by Jack's abilities and decided to hire him as his errand boy. Jack would later become an assistant to Monroe and eventually join the Templar Order. Now, why did I mention this? Sure, I've talked about backstories of some characters before, but Jack is a side character. We will be barely seeing him in this game. Well, it's because his backstory made me think about something, so bear with me. Many of the assassins, I'm especially looking at Liam and Hope, have criminal backstories. Many of them grew up poor and their only option was to steal. This, however, also applies to Weeks, and this made me think. Did Liam and Hope become assassins simply out of belief, or because it was the only way forward for them? What if instead of meeting Achilles, they met Gist or Monroe? Would they still eventually become assassins, or would they become Templars? And the opposite applies to Weeks. What if Weeks met Achilles instead of Gist? Would he still be here in front of you, attempting to help Monroe? This idea is sadly not explored in the game, but it is something we can imagine and think about.
Colonel Monroe surrendered to General Montcalm. The French and their Abenaki allies took Fort Henry. Johnson was supposed to bring reinforcements here. The Abenaki are restless. They don't understand the terms of surrender and refuse to heed Montcalm. The colonel and his men were released this morning. They're walking into an ambush.
Wait here in case Johnson arrives. I'll protect the Colonel. Maybe I can finally repay my debt to him.
So you head out to meet Monroe and hopefully save him. And yep, this is another mission with stalkers. Luckily, you can dodge most of them by choosing to go through the trees instead of walking on the ground. You dispatch the stalkers and run towards the place where Monroe currently is. He is in the middle of a battle with assassin troops, so you run in, help his troops, and then you toss.
Must hurry. We should bring what's left of your men to the Morgan.
A welcome offer, Captain Cormac. Follow me. Safe passage is ahead.
Now, there are many things awaiting you, and safe passage is not one of them. As Monroe finishes thanking you for helping him, you are suddenly discovered by Kisagawase, who has a group of assassins along with him.
You live!
Attack!
Take cover!
They attack you, you defend yourself and Monroe and his troops, and then you head after Kasegawase.
Keep your men moving. I'll scout ahead and signal if there's trouble.
A sensible strategy. Very well. I will lead my men around the slope.
Kasegawase has in the meantime placed many snipers in the area. I'll be honest, I've never finished this mission the way it's supposed to be played, that is in secret and quiet. Instead, I've always been discovered, but whatever. What matters is I've had fun. So you kill the lookouts and then meet with Monroe again, now that the path truly is safe.
Hurry. Kasegawase will not relent.
Kasegawase. You know this man, Master Cormac.
Aye, Colonel. He is one of Achilles' men. An assassin, as I was.
So they know I am a Templar. And now this assassin knows you live.
And work with Templars. I'm no fool, Colonel. The assassins will come after me next. We're both targets now.
Just as you're about to reach the ship, however, you're met with 3 more snipers. They're the last assassin line between you and the Morrigan. You reach the ship just in time, but as you look behind yourself, you notice Kasegawase running after you. Jack, luckily, has an idea.
I owe you my life, Master Cormac.
As do I, Colonel.
We have much to discuss. However, I must tend to my troops.
Sir, I will accompany you to Johnson's trading post at Onakwaga.
Then I shall depart at once. Master Cormac, meet me there.
So you meet up with Colonel Monroe and Jack Weeks at Johnson's trading outpost. This mission is mostly a filler, nothing that would somehow further the story happens, but it's a fun mission. But first, let me address the dialogue between Monroe and Shay. Shay wonders about how Monroe could have known he was an assassin, to which Monroe simply points towards Shay's hidden blades. And this is absolutely amazing. Shay is not a stupid person, he at least doesn't act like one. Most of the time. But this is sheer brilliance. So you telling me that Shay at no point thought to himself that his hidden blades, a staple of the Assassin Brotherhood, might have given him away? He even asks Gist how he knew, and now he's asking Monroe. And at no point did he think that the hidden blades could have given him away. But, well, whatever. Also, Shay returns the manuscript to the Colonel. I will talk about this specific event later. Let's get back to the mission. Like I said, this mission is mostly filler. It's split into 2 parts, a fighting part and a sneaking part. First, you run towards the British camp, which is under attack from the French army. You defeat the French and the British soldiers start cheering. Second, you run towards a friendly Native American village of the Oneida tribe. The Oneida have been taken prisoner by the assassin soldiers. You quietly dispatch them, making sure not to cause too much noise, and you free the prisoners. Mission accomplished. Next, you head towards Albany, where you're supposed to meet Monroe, but this happens.
Damn the devil! What happened here?
Kasegawase.
Well, then we are too late.
No. Fort Fredericks is nearby. I'm sure the Colonel can hold it.
You heard the captain, lads! Make haste!
So you head towards the fort, which is under attack from assassin troops. You kill the 12 soldiers currently attacking the fort, and I understand that the game operates on a much smaller scale than reality, but it is still funny to imagine only 12 troops assaulting a fort. Either way, you dispatch them, and then you talk with Monroe.
This is Kasegawase's work, isn't it?
I believe it is, but I've not yet seen the devil.
Just a little longer.
Bring it to the Morrigan. That's an order.
Who are you to give me orders? I outrank you.
I'm not part of your army, Colonel. I'll take care of the defenses until you get back. Kasegawase.
Now, you're supposed to kill Kasegawase using a puckle gun, but I just counter him, throw away his weapon, and then it's an insta-kill.
We trained you well, traitor!
Kasegawase. It didn't have to be this way.
It did. You are an enemy. Achilles will see you dead.
What he's doing is wrong.
Who are you to judge? The Templars will fail. You will fail. Monroe is already dead.
What do you mean?
Liam.
Yes, as it turns out, this was a ruse the whole time. While you were chasing Kasayawase, Liam went after Monroe, who currently has the manuscript. And fine, let's talk about it. So how did Liam know Monroe would have the manuscript? Shouldn't he think that Shay has it since he was the last person to have it? And fine, let's say he doesn't know that Monroe has the manuscript and he's only lucky to find it on Monroe. Why did he go after him again? Monroe is not really an important Templar. Sure, he's been seen with Shay, but shouldn't Shay still be the priority here? And let's talk about Shay and Monroe playing hot potato with the manuscript. I don't want it, you take it. No, I don't want it, you take it. Jesus Christ, they act like little kids. And of course, as they are throwing the idiot award among themselves, Liam comes in, attacks Monroe, who Shay for some unknown reason told to run through the city which is full of assassin troops, and on him he finds the manuscript. Wow, this could not have gone better. I do genuinely love this game, but this is a little too much even for me. How would I have done this? I would not have given Shay the manuscript, I would not have Shay return the manuscript, I would simply have Monroe have it, and then Monroe should get attacked by Kasayawase and Liam at the fort from where it would be stolen. Simple. Keep it simple. Either way, you run after Monroe, who you find in a burning building. You run in, pick him up, and carry him outside.
The manuscript. An assassin took it.
Liam. I'll get it back. I swear it.
Shay.
Now, Monroe's death is saddening. He was a simple but an interesting character. He was a good introduction into the Templars and their ideology of peace and order. I personally would have loved to see more of Monroe, and especially his interactions with other characters. Whether the doubtful and skeptical Shay, the more joyful and happy-go-lucky Gist, or the ruthless and almost cruel Grand Master, who we have not yet met, but it's a familiar face. What makes this death the saddest is how avoidable this was. If only Shay and Monroe stuck together, they would now be standing next to each other. I understand that Shay's intention was for Monroe to get to safety, but this was truly a foolish decision. Well, we say goodbye to Monroe, and soon we say hello to the Grand Master of the Colonial Order.
Do you swear to uphold the principles of our order? And all that for which we stand?
I do.
And never to share our secrets, nor divulge the true nature of our work?
I do.
And to do so from now until death, whatever the cost?
I do.
Then we welcome you into our fold, brother. You are now a Templar, harbinger of a new world. May the Father of Understanding guide us.
May the Father of Understanding guide us.
You pop out of the Animus for like, what, the third time? You meet your boss who simps for Shay once more, you meet this woman who says the last person in charge got disappeared, and essentially warns you that the same can happen to you. You do another puzzle, and back to the Animus it is.
Got it. Shay's in Paris, all right. I even got a date for you. 1776.
At this point in time, Franklin was the American ambassador to France.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Otto Berg, professional killer and amateur historian.
After getting back to the Animus, you continue in a glitched memory. Shay is back in Paris. If you remember the last time we were here, Shay was looking for Benjamin Franklin, though we do not yet know why. Now your goal is explicitly to find him. You do so, and then I attempt to do a double air assassination, and I fail somehow. Yes, this game sometimes does this. I also managed to perform this double counter, where I countered two people at the same time. I have no idea how I did this. Despite playing the game twice, this is the only time I managed to do this.
Shay? Is that you? Where are my manners? Thank you, my friend, thank you. But what are you doing in Paris?
With all due respect, sir, this is no time to talk. You're still in danger.
Yes, I must return to my family.
Now you have to escort Benjamin Franklin while he's under attack from assassins. You dispatch the 3 assassins on your way to Franklin's house, and then a cutscene plays. Franklin asks you to wait for him outside while he makes sure his family is safe. Our goal now is to get rid of the remaining 5 assassins who will start their attack in 2 minutes unless we get rid of them. So we get rid of them. One by one they fall until none are left. And then another cutscene plays.
It was quite fortunate.
I make my own luck, Master Franklin, as I suspect you do.
Yes, indeed, my good fellow. Yet, without your assistance today, is there anything I can do for you to repay you for this kindness?
Actually, there is. I need to meet a business acquaintance. I heard he would be at the Chateau de Versailles 2 days from now.
Very well. I'll see what can be arranged.
And we're back to the past. You meet with Haytham and talk about the precursor sites. It's all very casual. We're basically rehashing what we already know. Shay says that instead of an apple, they found a tree, roots that hold the earth together, and the assassins are blindly interfering with these structures, causing earthquakes. Next, Haytham mentions that there is assassin activity close to Louisbourg Fortress, so you will be meeting with a Royal Navy officer, James Cook. As you're about to leave, Haytham mentions one last thing.
Colonel Monroe spoke highly of you, Shay. He was convinced you could become the best among us.
Among us? Among us? Sus? Why did I say that?
Gist, do you know why the Grand Master is so interested in Captain Cook?
Well, sir, he's very intelligent and ambitious. His knowledge of seamanship is second to none. And if I trust my favorite barmaid in Halifax, he also just became captain of his own man-of-war. He's also an expert at deciphering secret codes. A man with such a skill is certainly an asset to our cause.
Welcome aboard, gentlemen.
Good to see you again, Captain.
Captain Shay Cormac, Captain James Cook.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure's mine, sir.
Captain Cook uncovered a rather distressing stratagem, which I fear confirms our own intelligence.
Indeed. As we speak, our Royal Navy fleet is on its way to Louisbourg. However, the French have drawn up a preemptive strike against it if they launch this attack.
Obviously, we cannot allow that to happen. Gentlemen, the Battle of Louisbourg could very well be the turning point which will finally bring this war to a close.
Okay, we need to talk about Haytham for a second. He is the Grand Master of the Colonial Order, and honestly, I love this guy. He is ruthless and domineering. No matter the conversation, he will dominate it. Every scene he's in inevitably centers around him, his opinions, and his decisions. You can actually see Cook's arms go limp as he realizes he just lost control of the conversation, which he quite likely wanted to continue himself. It's also interesting to note that no matter what, Haytham stays in the shot. He never disappears, and often he's actually in the middle of the composition. When he's about to leave the shot in this scene, the camera suddenly changes to a different position so that he can be seen. I imagine this is something most people don't consciously notice, but I've played this game twice and I'm going through it as I'm editing, essentially for the third time, so these little details become obvious. I feel like camera work is not appreciated enough in games overall, despite it being such an important part of any cutscene. Either way, Shay says he's had enough of war, to which Cook offers him to take control of the man-of-war. Now, what logic is this? I feel like a part of the conversation was just skipped. Shay says he doesn't want to fight anymore, to which the response is, okay, well you can take over my ship and fight as much as you want. What? Well, I don't mind. Getting to control a man-of-war sounds pretty cool, and it is a very cool mission. You do battle with the French Navy. The roars of cannons and mortars can be heard all around you as you sink their ships. But then, a familiar face appears. It's Adewale, and he has the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter. Adewale begins his attack of fire ships, which are, as the name suggests, kamikaze ships on fire. They are on a collision course with your ship, and your job is to destroy them, either using the frontal cannons or using the mortar. You destroy the first line of the fire ships, but if there is a first line, then there also must be a second line. Second, even bigger row of ships suddenly attacks you. You destroy them one by one, and then the third line of fire ships, this one accompanied by actual ships as well. You destroy the fire ships first, and then you let the rest of them have it. You fire your cannons and unleash mayhem of the highest order. The situation, however, seems hopeless. Another line of ships suddenly appears, but then...
There's the Royal Navy. We cleared the way just in time, Captain Cormac.
Adewale is still out there.
Sure we'll get another turn to dance with him, Master Kenway.
Look what the wind just blew in.
Hail and good morrow, gentlemen.
Once again, Captain Cook's resourcefulness has served us well.
I have located the man you were seeking.
Adewale?
Exactly. He was last seen in the French fort not 2 leagues from here along the river.
Thank you, Master Cook. We'll take it from here.
Farewell and Godspeed, gentlemen.
Ease off the wind! Haul it all sail!
Aye, sir. I'll keep her close, and I'll keep her safe.
Good luck, Shay.
I make my own luck, Master Kenway.
So, the Templars sent their dog after me. Time to test him.
He's getting away. If only he'd stand still and fight me.
You chase Adewale through the river, which slowly narrows more, and soon you and Adewale reach a dead end. It's here where you will battle him. And yes, it's a ship boss battle time. It's nothing like when you control the man of war. You have much fewer cannons, and the ones you do have much less firepower. Your hull is not as strong as Cook's ships either, but you dance with Adewale nonetheless, and soon you have him.
Adewale's beached his ship!
A novel tactic?
He's saving his crew.
No. He's making a last stand. Let's not disappoint him.
Follow him, Shay. I will try to corner him.
I served with your father, Hazel. He would be ashamed to see what you have become. You're a quick boy. Not very clever.
Forgive me, Adewale.
You dare beg forgiveness, child? Hell welcomes traitors like you.
Then I go there proudly, knowing I have done right.
It does not matter. Achilles already has what he needs.
I will kill every last man who defends him if I must. I cannot let him succeed.
You have become a monster, Shay.
Perhaps I have.
There's something in this scene that I found interesting that has stayed with me. The Grand Master of the Templars is basically the same position as the Mentor of the Assassins. It's not only a leadership position, it's also about guidance, about teaching. And what I find interesting is that when Shay is full of doubt, when he says out loud, "Maybe I have become a monster," the Grand Master Haytham is right behind him. And what does he say? Does he console Shay? Does he logically explain the righteousness of their actions? No, he simply says,
Come.
Come with me. For Haytham, there are no doubts. He is already completely sure that what he is doing is right. It is an interesting contrast. Shay, the doubtful person, questioning his morality. Haytham, the strong believer, not doing so. Which of them, however, more fits the tag of a monster? That you can be the judge of.
What is our progress on the precursor matter?
We are gathering ships and supplies, but it is difficult without a specific destination.
My men can help. I have enough to spare for a crew as well, Chevalier.
Hope has found a way to reproduce Master Franklin's experiment. We'll soon uncover the next precursor site.
And you are confident you can do this?
The device will be ready shortly.
Very good. Keep me apprised.
We've yet to find where Hope is hiding. And most criminals in New York report to her now. I better find the Grand Master.
Okay, we don't know where Hope is hiding. Maybe you could just tail her right now? You managed to tail them to a meeting spot already. Can you not just continue what you were doing? But sure, let's go find the Grandmaster.
Things are worse than we feared. The assassins found a way to make the precursor box work. They're already preparing an expedition.
Then we must stop them.
Hope controls hundreds of men. And the authorities are doing sod all.
What if we were to impersonate her men? We could commit a crime so big, they couldn't ignore those damn brigands anymore.
That sounds like an excellent plan, Jack. Make it so. I will find out where the assassins are hiding.
Is it just me, or did the boss tell us to make trouble?
Enjoy it while you can, Shay.
Here we have another chase scene. Like always, I try to shoot them with the sleeping darts, but these guys are somehow immune against them. Luckily, we are in America, so guns do work. Once the chase scene is over, you meet up with Jack once more.
Don't we make a disgraceful pair of crooks?
No. I make this look good. So what's the target?
The military pay. We'll have to hurry. A regiment is already on its way to the fort where the coins are kept.
Great. And I suppose you have a plan.
The fort holds many prisoners. Get in and hoist the gang's colors. When you do, I'll free them.
You're going to free a bunch of criminals working with the assassins.
Well, we have to turn the army against them, don't we? Remember, you raise the flag, and I'll raise hell.
What on earth happened here? The prisoners got loose. They had help from outside. There were just too many of them. Well then, we're going to have to fix that, aren't we? It's about time we took those criminals down.
It worked, Jack.
With a little luck, the army will crush those damn brigands.
I make my own luck.
Where is your boss?
I'll never tell. She'll kill me.
If you don't tell, he'll kill you.
She's in that big mansion. The one with the gardens.
Shall we go?
Our mission was a success. The army should make its move any time now.
Good. We lack the resources in New York to handle these criminals ourselves. With a little luck, we might be rid of them once and for all.
I make my own luck.
Now let us cut off the snake's head.
Now, the way things look, it appears that this will be a classic frontal assault. However, there is a much better way to go about things. Instead, run to the right, jump on these boxes, and climb up this tree. Jump down to the haystack, climb out of it, counter the stalker that's just waiting for you around here, and continue making your way around the house. Go up on these boxes, and climb up onto the roof, and you're done.
We have everything we need. Now, Chevalier will be expecting me. Hope?
Bon voyage. About time you showed up. Sorry it had to come to this, Shay. You were a fascinating fellow.
The situation looks dire. You're locked in a house with a poisonous gas slowly creeping up towards the ceiling which you cannot reach. So what do? Well, you do what any good assassin, or, well, Templar does, and that is climbing. If you can't go up, you can at least go to the side, and maybe, just maybe, escape this room through some sort of an opening. You jump from pipe to pipe, almost falling once, which honestly gave me a heart attack. I didn't realize wooden beams can crack like that in this game. Suddenly, you see it, a hole in the wall that you can climb through. You jump down, and then you make your way up the lift. You get outside, and there you see Hope once more.
You have more endurance than I expected, Shay.
Hope just poisoned you. It's a special type of poison which slows down your heart, so your only option is to keep moving fast to keep your heart beating. Honestly, out of all the boss fights in this game, this one is my favorite. Along with the optional objective of staying out of combat, this poses a true challenge. Also, the sense of urgency that you feel in this mission can only be understood by someone who played it. You truly feel like Shay could drop dead at any moment, so you do your best to keep him alive. You jump through trees and dodge enemies. I stumble into a stalker that I have to counter. Luckily, this doesn't count as combat. Suddenly, in the distance, you see Hope. You start chasing her, but it's obvious this won't be easy. At least, it's not supposed to be easy. This is supposed to be the final part of a long assassination mission. But we're still in America, and guns still work.
You're late. Again, Shay.
Hope. I didn't want to do this.
I trained you to do this. I expected nothing less.
Then why?
To give Liam time to leave. Soon Chevalier will be on his way to the precursor site.
I will stop him.
He will see you coming. Pity. You had so much potential.
Hope's death is tragic. Hope and Shay truly seemed like they had something special going on. I would not say it was necessarily a romantic connection that they shared, but I would use the word special or maybe deep to describe it. Hope and her death is closely tied to my main criticism of this game, its length. It's a shame this game is so short. Even 2 additional hours of game time could have fleshed out their relationship, and this scene would mean so much more. Instead, we are halfway between sad and confused, as we truly knew very little about their relationship and what Shay killing Hope meant for him. At the end of the day, Shay hopes he is doing the right thing, and in pursuing the greater good, he must step over his former friends and allies. On one hand, I agree with Shay and believe he is right, yet it still feels wrong to kill the people you shared connections with. These conflicting feelings clash together and make this a memorable experience. Like I said, if only this game was longer, imagine if it was 16 hours instead of 8. This could have easily been on the level of Assassin's Creed 2, but sadly we do not live in that ideal world. We cannot experience it, but we can imagine it and feel sad.
Master Cormac, to what do I owe the pleasure?
I was stopping to restock my ship when I heard the talented Captain Cook was here. We have a word.
At your service, as always.
I'm looking for a man. Captain Louis-Joseph Gauthier, Chevalier de la Vérendrye.
The explorer. He sailed east a few days ago on a heading to Anticosti.
Indeed.
I would advise caution.
Oh, I've been there before.
Then, I bid you good fortune. I will be sailing past Conception Bay, should you require further assistance.
Much obliged.
The Grand Master is pleased, Shay, what you did in New York. Yeah, it's only a matter of time now before order is restored.
New York was never orderly, Gist. With Hope gone, perhaps.
It couldn't have been easy for you, my lad, but you did what you had to do.
I keep telling myself that.
Now, this mission, I would not exactly call it filler. You do something that actually furthers the plot, that is steal Chevalier's maps and essentially find where he's heading, which is quite important for the development of the story, but it still feels like filler. Either way, you arrive to Anticosti, you sneak in, you find the man with the maps, you kill him, steal the maps, and then you run back to your ship. Mission accomplished.
Master Cormac, I didn't expect to see you again so soon.
I found Levet Andre's travel plans. But the devil used some kind of code. I can't figure it out. Maybe you'll have better luck.
This is a very old cipher. I have seen it once before. I could draw you a map.
Or you could accompany me. Help me find Levet Andre.
An urgent matter, then. Very well. We shall sail together again.
Did you hear that?
Cannon fire. Deep within the fog.
Could it be the Lavarandri?
Perhaps. This is a secret expedition. They won't be keen to leave any witnesses to their voyage.
Race!
It's an ambush! Steady the ship! Where are they?
Yep, as you were pursuing the assassin expedition to the far north, you were ambushed from somewhere deep within the fog. You start looking around, hoping that you might find the vessel that shot its mortar at you. You use your spyglass and start looking around. Suddenly, you see it.
It's the Gerfaut!
Could be valuable cargo. Irksome to the last. De Lavarandre must have stayed behind to stop her.
And no doubt volunteered for the job.
It's exactly what you think. A ship boss battle. The Gerfaut is a man of war, a terrifying vessel, as you most likely know yourself since we did pilot Cook's ship for one mission. You are outgunned and outhulled. The Gerfaut has more health and does more damage than your ship. This, along with the optional objective of not hitting a single iceberg, makes for a difficult battle. But honestly, I'm having fun. This for me is probably the second most fun boss battle in this game. There's simply something about the way your ship sways and bounces due to the waves caused by you cracking the icebergs in your vicinity as you battle something much more powerful than you. Luckily, you have something the enemy doesn't. You have pure skill. Using that skill, you eventually defeat the Gerfaut, and then it's time for boarding. Another optional objective pops up. Take no damage. Of course, I thought this was easy, so let's make it a little more difficult. Luckily, you don't actually have to battle Chevalier. Instead, you climb up and then assassinate him, and it's an insta-kill.
So, cabbage farmer, are you still convinced the Templars are right?
Convinced to the end.
Oh.
You bastard! Achilles and Liam have already headed north!
Hope was right. I do make a good distraction.
Ah! Thanks for your help, Captain Cook.
You're welcome, Captain Cormac. Sailing with you is certainly, interesting. Tell me the truth. Are you fellas with a larger organization?
Oh shit, does he know?
The Board of Admiralty. You take your orders directly from His Majesty, don't you?
We couldn't tell you, even if we were.
We'll contact you in regards to sponsoring future voyages, Captain.
Much obliged.
think Achilles and Liam have found the precursor site?
The world is still standing. If they uncovered it, they have not yet set the Earth in motion.
How gentlemanly of them.
There should still be time. Master Gist, stay here. I shall accompany Shay. As Grand Master, I must investigate this precursor matter to the end, and witness the death of Achilles' brotherhood.
Now, there is something we need to talk about. How the hell does this work? I get that this is not the first time we're climbing like this in an Assassin's Creed game, but what is going on here? I've been climbing once or twice, and I'd love to see someone recreate this in real life.
That's a hefty crew Achilles brought.
I doubt he expects all of them to survive these conditions.
That's bleak. But we're still outnumbered. Let's keep a low profile, avoid unnecessary fights.
Go on, Shay. I will find another way.
Now, if it wasn't completely obvious, this is the last mission of the main storyline. There will technically be one more mission, but that one doesn't really count. It's more of an epilogue. I personally prefer the epilogue mission for reasons I will talk about later when we get to it, but for now let's focus on this mission. You do all the classic stuff you do in most other Assassin's Creed final missions. You reach a precursor site, there are some obstacles you need to climb over, just normal things. Personally, I don't think it's a great mission, but it does its job, and that's what truly matters. So you dodge deadly lasers that could incinerate you, and slowly make your way towards the heart of the temple, where you meet Liam and Achilles.
Is this the apple?
No, don't touch anything. Shay was right.
What would he know?
More than me, apparently.
Finally you understand, Achilles. This is a structure to hold the world together, not a weapon to control it. This whole calamity could have been avoided if you'd only listened to me.
Disrespectful to the end.
Yes, we've been working on that.
Right or wrong, Shay? You betrayed the Brotherhood, Achilles and me.
Says the man who shot me in the back.
At the homestead. That was Chevalier.
I don't miss!
Liam, don't!
Did you have to bring the damn manuscript and box all the way out here, Liam?
The precursor box is safe, Shay! Chevalier took care of that! You'll never find it! I found Hope's body, Shay!
I'm sorry!
Was it you? Tell me!
I had to!
That was lucky.
How many times do I have to tell you, Liam? I make my own luck.
How'd you do that, you bastard? You broke the assassins. Betrayed everyone you knew. You sided with our worst enemies. And for what?
To save the world.
I hope that world is a good one.
there is something about Liam's death, and now retrospectively everyone else's death as well, that is profoundly depressing. The moment Achilles saw the precursor device holding the Earth together, he immediately realized that Shay was right. Shay has been obsessed with doing the right thing this whole time. He has been scarred by his actions in Lisbon, and he has never stopped thinking about what could happen if the assassins found another precursor site. Yet, when they did, Achilles stopped himself in his tracks and realized the true nature of the site. This would have been the last site the assassins disturbed, no matter what Shay did. Yes, of course, Shay's rebellion made Achilles wary of what could happen, and ultimately led to him realizing the true nature of the sites. However, Shay probably never had to have killed his friends. He could have disappeared and lived a quiet life, and most likely nothing would have truly changed. Pointless. That's the word that best describes Shay's journey. Shay always attempted to do the right thing, but maybe in the end, the best thing to do might have been nothing. His friends would be alive, Achilles would have realized the error of his ways, and maybe, just maybe, Shay could have eventually gotten together with his friends once more. But now it's too late, and saving the world has never felt this empty.
No!
Why not?
Achilles is harmless now. A mentor with no followers. What kind of world are we making if we cannot show mercy? Besides, he understands what these precursor sites are now. Without him, the assassins may continue their search.
Valid points.
Now then, mission accomplished. We can now return to— Jesus Christ, Haytham! I swear this man is speedrunning the psychopath test on IDR Labs. Well, if you were ever wondering why Achilles has a limp in Assassin's Creed 3, here's your goddamn explanation. Man, I love Haytham, but this man has absolutely no chill. Either way, you leave Achilles in the snow and, wait, how is he going to get back? I killed all his men next to the ship. Is he gonna swim?
So what happens now?
Master Gist will be in charge of eradicating any remaining traces of the assassins. Master Weeks and the others will assist him, of course.
Achilles has lost everything. He won't dare leave his homestead.
He won't. Shay, although our search for precursor sites is at an end, I want that box. You will find it for the Templar Order, and for me.
Could be anywhere in the world by now. It may take years to find it.
It may take your lifetime. Are you up for the challenge?
So, you get woken up from the Animus for about the 10th time. This is the last time this happens though. Your boss is very happy with the high amount of synchronization you got. Your reward? Just do this one last job and you're done. You head to the server room, you complete the final puzzle, and then you upload Shay's story to the mainframe. A cool montage that your boss made in Movie Maker plays, and then you're finished. You go back to the Animus one last time.
The Royal Palace at Versailles, Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette in residence.
Such decadence.
Good luck, Numbskull.
Ah, Shay! You certainly look prepared to meet royalty. Perhaps King Louis himself will grant you an audience.
I doubt even these breaches will get me into the king's chambers. Besides, I'm only here to see a business acquaintance.
Yes, I heard a group of merchants would be here today. They might come see my scientific demonstration later.
They really should. They might learn something. Though I wouldn't count on their being present. I take my leave. Thank you again, Master Franklin. Now to find Charles and that damned box.
You look at the entrance, and one thing becomes obvious. You won't be passing through this checkpoint unnoticed, so you do the one thing a Templar can do, climbing. You notice a tall window and many small statues built into the wall. You climb up and then sideways until you reach a balcony, finally a point of entry. Now you're in a crowded area. Many civilians intermingle with the guards. If you want to get past the guards, your only option is to sneak your way through. And sneak your way through you do. You reach another balcony, an interior one this time. You jump down and assassinate the only guard in your way. You walk around two children whose dialogue you overhear.
Did you see their faces when we stole those apples? I'm Arno. Elise. I'm here with my father. So am I. He has important business with the king. What should we do now?
You make your way towards your target, no guards in your way to separate you from him.
I'll protect this artifact with my very life.
You hide in a crowd, and he passes you by, not noticing you. You sneak upon him from behind, and then it's over.
You're the traitor.
I'm just finishing old business.
Old Connor and his assassins. The American Revolution undid your Templar business.
And perhaps we shall start a revolution of our own. Uphold the principles of our order, and all that for which we stand. Never share our secrets, nor divulge the true nature of our work. Do so until death, whatever the cost. This is my new creed. I am Shay Patrick Cormac, Templar of the Colonial, of the American right. I am an older man now, and perhaps wiser. A war and a revolution have ended, and another is about to begin. May the Father of Understanding guide us all.
And that's the end. I don't think this game could have had a more fitting ending. Just like the game itself, it leaves you wanting more, but there is no more. You feel happy that you could experience Shay's journey, which was certainly fresh and original compared to other Assassin's Creed games, but you also feel sad, knowing there is no more of Shay. Now, based on the title of this video and based on what I said in the intro, it's obvious what my verdict of the game is. I really liked it, but I am not blind to its missteps, the plot holes, or mechanics that don't exactly work the way they should. Also, based on how much I ignored the Animus plotline, you can tell how much I enjoyed that. But really, in the end, I think this game tries to do things differently, and for that, it deserves at least some level of respect and appreciation. Personally, I love it. It might even be in the top 3 of Assassin's Creed games for me, right after Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. But I also understand that not everyone feels like this. The game is flawed, but it is a gem nonetheless. An unpolished gem.